Have you ever stopped to think about what really completes an outfit? Beyond the main clothes?
Yeah, sometimes it's that one thing, right?
Exactly. Like a watch or maybe some jewelry, even just the right belt. It pulls it all together. It's definitely more than just a little extra, isn't it?
Hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because today we're doing a deep dive into, well, the totally fascinating world of fashion accessories. It's surprisingly huge.
It really is. Its actual scale often flies under the radar. We've been looking at this report, the Global Fashion Accessories Market Report 2021-2033,
Hmm.
from Cognitive Market Research.
Right.
What jumps out immediately is just how fast it's growing. It's a much more dynamic area than people might think.
Definitely. And our mission here, for you listening, is basically to pull out the most crucial bits from that report.
Give you the highlights.
Yeah, kind of a shortcut so you can get up to speed on this really booming industry without wading through all the raw data yourself.
Makes sense.
So maybe let's start with the basics. What does the report actually count as fashion accessories?
Good question. It's pretty broad, actually. You've got your bags, jewelry, watches, eyewear like sunglasses and regular glasses,
Okay.
belts, hats, wallets. And then it mentions sort of other complementary items too. Basically anything that enhances the overall look.
The finishing touches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They allow for that personal expression.
What's fascinating here is how these things, they're not just decorations anymore, are they?
Not at all. They've really become central to consumer lifestyle. They reflect seasonal trends big time. And they're huge for brand identity.
Hmm.
The report digs into the drivers behind this growth. Think about celebrity endorsements, how much impact they have now.
Oh, huge.
And digital fashion trends whipping around on social media. Plus, just general shifts in how consumers behave, wanting more personalized style.
Right, right.
Then add in rising disposable income globally, more people working and wanting to look, professional or put together.
That makes sense.
And of course, the explosion of online shopping platforms, it's like a perfect storm of factors driving up demand.
And when you say demand, the numbers are, well, they're pretty eye-watering. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, they really are.
We're talking almost $1 trillion globally back in 2021, like $957 billion.
Just for accessories.
Just for accessories. But it's the growth that's wild. By 2025, it's projected to hit over $1.5 trillion.
Wow.
And then look out to 2033, the forecast is nearly $4 trillion. $3.9 trillion.
That's massive.
It is. And that growth rate, the CAGR, it's almost 12.5% compound annual growth over that whole period. That's not just steady growth, that's a serious surge.
Sustained, yeah.
Very strong.
So, okay, almost $4 trillion.
Right.
Where is all this growth happening? Like geographically, let's break that down.
Right. Let's take a look around the globe. Starting with North America, maybe a bit surprising how strong it still is.
Okay.
It was worth over $230 billion in 2021, and it's projected to get close to $900 billion by 2033. Still a really strong double-digit CAGR there.
Almost quadrupling, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the U.S. is, well, obviously the biggest chunk of that. Expected to hit over $678 billion itself by 2033.
Canadians.
But what's quite interesting is Canada. Its growth rate is actually projected to be the fastest within North America.
Really? Faster than the U?
Yeah, proportionally. A KGR over 13%, hitting almost $160 billion by 2033. So maybe faster adoption or shifting consumer habits there.
Could be.
And Mexico's growing steadily, too, contributing quite a bit.
Okay, let's hop across the pond. Europe, mature market, but still growing.
Definitely still growing. Impressively so, actually. Is over $265 billion in 2021.
Right.
And it's expected to break the $1 trillion mark by 2033.
Wow, $1 trillion just in Europe.
Yeah. Key countries like Germany and France are huge, both projected well over $150 billion each. The UK is also a major player, around $125 billion projected.
Okay.
And you see solid growth across the board. Italy, Russia, Spain, even places like Switzerland and Denmark. So it's widespread demand.
Got it. But you mentioned earlier the real powerhouse, the fastest growing overall, is Asia Pacific.
Absolutely. That's where the most explosive growth is happening.
So what are the numbers there?
Okay, Asia Pacific started at over $330 billion in 2021. The projection for 2033, over $1.4 trillion.
Whoa.
And that's with the highest regional CGR in the report, over 13%.
And China's the biggest piece of that pie, I assume.
It is, yeah. China's the largest contributor, heading towards, let's see, over $417 billion by 2033.
Okay.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, specifically looking at the rate of growth for individual countries, India stands out.
How so?
India has the strongest country-level growth in the entire report, the highest CGR,
Wow, what's the number?
nearly 15%,
Hmm.
14.9%. Its market is projected to grow towards $290 billion by 2033. It just highlights the massive potential there,
Incredible. That's a key takeaway right there.
for sure. And Japan is also very significant, growing strongly, projected over $230 billion. Plus South Korea, Australia, Southeast Asia, all contributing significantly.
So it sounds like the growth is pretty global, but obviously concentrated in some key areas. What about other regions? Are they seeing similar trends?
They are, yeah. The growth isn't just in those three big regions. South America, for example.
Okay.
That region's projected to go from about $67 billion to over $300 billion by 2033.
Mm-hmm.
Brazil and Argentina are leading the charge there.
Quite a jump.
And the Middle East, too, showing strong expansion, heading towards nearly $170 billion. The UAE is noted for particularly remarkable growth within that region.
Interesting.
And finally, Africa. Its market is also expanding significantly, projected to cross $100 billion by 2033. Nigeria and South Africa are mentioned as key players.
So it really is a global phenomenon.
It really is. It speaks to just how important accessories have become everywhere.
Okay, lean pull back a bit. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've thrown a lot of big numbers around trillions of dollars, crazy growth rates.
Right.
We talked about the drivers, disposable income, digital trends, celebs. But how do those pieces actually fit together to create this much value?
Yeah, this raises an important question. Why now? Why this surge across the board?
Mm-hmm.
And it really is that combination, that synergy you mentioned. Think about online retail. You see something, a trend, maybe an influencer wearing it.
And you can buy it instantly?
Exactly. Impulse buys become much easier. Then you have digital trends spreading like wildfire on social media, showing you endless ways to style things, express yourself.
Yeah, discovery is so much faster.
Combine that accessibility and inspiration with, well, more people globally having more money to spend.
Right, the disposable income factor.
Accessories become this relatively affordable way to update your look. You don't need a whole new wardrobe,
Mm-hmm.
a new bag, some cool glasses. It makes a big impact for less cost.
That makes a lot of sense. A high-impact, lower-cost refresh.
Precisely. And understanding these dynamics matters, beyond just fashion. It tells you something about consumer priorities, maybe even hints at broader economic shifts.
Or investment opportunities, potentially.
Could be. It's a reflection of changing values and spending patterns.
It really does make you think about your own habits, doesn't it? Like, how many of the things you pick out each morning are actually accessories?
Hmm.
And how much are these massive global trends influencing those little choices, maybe without you even realizing the economic currents underneath?
It's easy to overlook.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful, just the sheer size and well, explosive growth of this market. Fashion accessories.
Yep.
It really shows how these, small details add up to something enormous, economically speaking.
Absolutely. They punch way above their weight.
So looking ahead then, any final thoughts? Where might this go next?
Well, it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? As technology keeps evolving, think about things like virtual fashion. AR try-ons are already becoming a thing.
True.
Or smart accessories, watches are just the beginning, maybe smart rings, smart jewelry. How could those innovations reshape this already booming market?
Could they push it even higher?
It's certainly possible. Could these tech advancements or even shifts in the global economy we haven't foreseen drive this market even beyond these already huge projections in the next decade? It's definitely something to watch.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into something that maybe feels small, but actually has this huge ripple effect. Fashion accessories. That necklace, the watch, the bag, they're not just extras anymore. We're seeing massive shifts here, economically, socially, even technologically. So our mission today is to really explore these changes. We're talking digital influence, sustainability, how we express our identity. It's all playing a part. And what's really interesting, I think, is how these pieces have moved from being like afterthoughts to being right at the center of innovation and self-expression.
Absolutely. They're definitely not just add-ons these days. They've become strategic, really expressive tools. So yeah, we're going to look at what's driving the market, some of the big hurdles it's facing, and then touch on some pretty exciting future trends that are already starting to emerge.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with the key drivers. What's really pushing this market growth? First up, it seems to be social commerce and digital discovery. You see it everywhere, right? Platforms like TikTok Shop, Instagram Checkout, even Pinterest Lens. They aren't just for browsing anymore. They're actual shopping engines. You can buy directly right there in your feed. And get this statistic, 58% of Gen Z's accessory buys, they start on social media now. It's kind of wild. You could be watching a micro-influencer live, see a cool resin ring or a pearl choker, and just buy it right then and there.
Yeah, and the effectiveness is, well, pretty remarkable. Those live shopping events, especially with niche creators, they're seeing incredible conversion rates. We're talking triple the conversion rates you'd see on a standard e-commerce site.
Yeah.
For things like statement earrings, enamel pins, even vintage brooches, it really shows this blend of, impulse buying, meeting direct influence. It's almost like entertainment turning directly into a purchase. Builds a different kind of trust, too.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so moving to the next driver, this idea of the premiumization of everyday accessories. It ties into that whole quiet luxury trend we hear about, this shift towards maybe fewer, better things. Like, instead of tons of cheap items, maybe investing in a $400 minimalist Italian leather crossbody or a really beautiful silk scarf designed to last. They become these subtle status signals.
And the numbers really back that up. Sales for these kinds of premium essentials, they're growing at 22% annually. That's pretty significant. It definitely reflects, I think, a consumer move away from fast fashion's disposability towards something more elevated, more enduring, a desire for real quality, perhaps.
Right. And then the third big driver we're seeing is the gender fluid and inclusive design movement. Those old traditional fashion binaries, they're really starting to blur. The unisex accessories area is exploding, growing at an 18% compound annual growth rate. It's huge year-over-year growth. And maybe even more telling, gender-neutral jewelry now makes up about 34% of all fine jewelry launches. It signals a major cultural shift.
And that inclusivity extends to adaptive accessories, too. Things designed for easier use, maybe for people with dexterity challenges. Think magnetic clasps on necklaces or fasteners on bracelets you can manage with one hand. There's serious potential there, estimated around $8.7 billion untapped market. It's not just progressive, it's, well, smart business.
Yeah, that's a great point. But of course, this market isn't without its challenges, and some of them are pretty substantial. One of the biggest have to be the counterfeit epidemic, especially in those digital marketplaces. It's staggering. We're talking a $500 billion a year industry built on fakes. And the items most copied, luxury handbags and watches, by a long shot.
Absolutely. And the consequences for the real brands are pretty severe. They're spending between 7 to 12% more just on authentication efforts and legal battles. And beyond that cost, their actual sales take a hit, dropping by an estimated 25% in markets where these fakes are really common. It just erodes trust and devalues the whole idea of authenticity.
It really does. Okay, another challenge. The cost premium of sustainable materials. This was tricky. There's this paradox where, consumers say they want ethical, sustainable goods. But the data shows 62% aren't willing to pay the extra 30 to 45% it might cost for something made from, say, mushroom leather or recycled gold.
Exactly. And that hesitation puts designers and manufacturers in a bind. These innovative biofabricated materials, like that mushroom leather, they show promise, but while scaling them up is technically difficult and expensive, so that cost often makes them less viable for the mainstream market, even if the intention is good.
Right. And let's not forget the inventory problem. This one's pretty stark in accessories. Accessories apparently have 35% higher unsold inventory rates than apparel. That's a lot of stuff left over. Often it's because brands misjudged a micro trend or just overestimated how many people would want a specific item.
And the knock-on effect of that is significant. All that excess inventory. It often ends up in off-price channels, discount outlets. Those outlets now account for 28% of total accessories sales. Which, yeah, it clears the stock, but it can really dilute the brand's image, make it feel less special, and it definitely crushes their profit margins. It's a tough balancing act.
Definitely. So, okay, despite those hurdles, where's the innovation happening? Where's the market heading? Let's talk trends. First up, tech-infused functional accessories. This is where fashion meets, well, real utility. We're seeing things like biometric tracking smart rings, handbags with built-in solar panels to charge your phone, NFC-enabled bracelets for digital ID. It's not sci-fi anymore.
No, it's becoming reality. And this whole wearable tech category, it's projected to hit $118 billion by 2027. That's huge. It's really about merging lifestyle, health monitoring, digital identity, all into the things you wear every day. It's more than just an accessory. It's becoming part of your digital life.
Wild. Okay, then there's the rise of seasonless subscription models. Kind of poses the question, why buy it when you can borrow it? You see rental platforms like Vivrel or Bag, Borrow, or Steal. They offer monthly subscriptions for luxury bags, sometimes starting around just $99 a month. It makes high-end fashion way more accessible.
And these services are catching on fast. They're growing at about 45% annually. The appeal is obvious, right? Variety, access to luxury, but without that huge upfront cost or, frankly, the closet clutter. It fits with how people want experiences now.
Totally. And finally, a trend that feels, I don't know, a bit more grounded. The revival of localized craftsmanship. It feels like a pushback against mass production. People seeking out artisan-made pieces that have a story, like those intricate Indian hand-block printed scarves, or maybe Japanese or ruchi lacquer hairpins. Things with a human touch, a cultural connection.
Yeah, and there's a real economic aspect too. These unique crafted items, they can command 3 to 5 times the price of mass market alternatives. So those limited edition collaborations, say, with indigenous artisans, they're not just ethical, they're proving to be really profitable. There's a clear demand for that authenticity.
So wrapping this up, I think the big takeaway here is accessories aren't just finishing touches anymore. Whether it's a smart ring tracking your sleep, a genderless bracelet, or a unique hand-woven clutch, they're carrying a lot more weight, telling a much bigger story about technology, identity, and values.
Exactly. It's fascinating how these seemingly small items have become so central. They're strategic, expressive, deeply connected to who we are, how we use tech, and our cultural context. It's less about just looking good, maybe more about being you.
So a final thought for you listening. Maybe look at your own accessories. What story are you wearing right now? And how might that story change with all these shifts we've just talked about?